All right, Lara, it is 9, and I just want to welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us. Kira Bixby is on vacation. I think she's usually your host, so you get me instead. And super excited to introduce Lara. She is going to be teaching, I think it's called Block Party, so that's so fun. As you know, our live series is free, and we love sharing the space and the time with you. And we do offer donations if you are interested in donating to the charity of choice. Lara is, I'll put it in the chat, but is selected her Future Coalition, and it's a project of 10 charities with yoga medicine. And that's a charity that is close to our heart. As everyone knows, we do a lot of work with Tiffany Cruikshank and her SEPA Foundation over the years. So I'm gonna pop that into chat. And Lara, I am going to hand over to you and mute all participants for now. Chat will be open, and then at the end, I will open it back up, and if anyone has questions. But there we go. Sound good?
Yeah, thank you.
I see a lot of wonderful names on there. All right, Lara, it is all you.
Thank you. I know. Goodbye, faces. Yeah, anyways, good morning. So it's 9 a.m. my time.
Oops.
Right, it's actually been really fiery and hot the last few days, so I'm not sure how well my lighting is. I'm trying. So, summertime is definitely one where there's, typically a lot more gatherings, and I always think about, like in August, which freakishly enough is August now, they always have the National Night Out where blocks, neighborhoods kind of get together. And in Capitol Hill, Seattle, there's an annual music festival and arts festival called Block Party. And so, summer is normally one gathering. So right now, since we're not really doing that in person, this is a really cool way for us to kind of collaborate a bunch of different time zones in a block party, but figuratively and literally blocks. So we'll celebrate and join the mobility and stability of the joints, muscles, get stronger, play, feel taller, all the good things. So ideally you have 2 blocks. If you only have one, that's okay. Second one, can be a little bit more of an add-on, but definitely 1 block. And I actually want us to get started seated. So sitting on your block in hero's pose and supported. So if you have, 2 blocks and that feels more comfortable to stack 2 blocks, or if this just does not feel good in your knees, you can always take the knees a little bit apart or across your ankles. So then just soften your eyes. Eventually they begin to close completely, and just allow yourself this connection to the powerful seat. Virasana, hero's pose. We're really on a hero's journey this year. We usually are. Trying to overcome those obstacles that are in front of us and kind of figure out the path that is ours to take. And I just want to take a few moments in this seat to arrive collectively. And yet autonomously with one another. Just lean into the breath a little bit more. Leaning into the breath and allowing it to become equanimous, equal in and out. You might stretch the breath a little bit longer as you find the capacity to lengthen. There, or Maybe back off if you feel like that is causing a strain. Now, either keeping your eyes closed or just really soft, interlace your fingers behind your low back and bring your hands around your right waist and then drop your right ear down. Just give yourself a little bit of length to the neck on the left side. Maybe turn your chin down towards your pecs a little bit and then roll the ear back to the shoulder. Do that one more time. So kind of build a neck in sensation, certainly nothing that's painful. And then interlace non-habitual and bring your hands to the left side of your waist and drop your left ear down. And then feel free to turn the chin down to whatever range feels good. Roll it back over. And then one more time. Turn it down. And then bring your ear back. And then come back to just seated hero's pose. Maybe this time as you release your hands down, you might feel some of that electricity around the upper body. Just slowly bring your palms together, hands in Anjali Mudra. And to begin class, I'm going to chant the invocation of the Upanishads. The Upanishads are a sacred series of texts, and they elaborate a lot on these ideas of dharma or purposefulness. And it seems like, again, no matter where we are in time, there's always those questions and those paths unknown. And the Shanti mantra means as teachers and students, may we practice together on all levels, without the ego, for the betterment of others, and take this practice off the mat, nourished and protected. And although I may not hear you, please feel free to join me at the end of the chant with the Om one time. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunatu Saha Viryam Haravavahai Tejasvinam Ahiramastu Ma Virvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om. Let's make our way to hands and knees, tabletop back. So if you have both your blocks, then take one to each side towards the top. I have my trusty coffee mug nearby. So just make sure you have a lot of room for our block party. And just start to maybe shift your hips a little bit side to side, kind of feel how the pelvis might be hammocking, or if the spine feels like you can use a couple more moments to release. And then just begin to invite in movement. So you might go into traditional cat-cow, dropping the belly and rounding, adding your giant breath, holding out your throat, or if you feel a little bit more, not necessarily adventurous, but investigative,
wealthier and waiter.
come into some more variations of hip circles or pulsations that might even take you into some more depth. Okay, 3 more rounds of breath in whatever movement you've just kind of found yourself taking. And then return back to a stable, steady tabletop back. Let's take your right leg back behind you, turn your toes down, draw through your ribs, and set your right foot in between both hands. Now, hands can just frame your right foot, and all I want you to do is take a few moments, again, shifting forward and back, or side to side. So kind of going in between poses, but a little bit more again, and kind of trying to figure out where you might need a little bit more glide, or where the body is being a little bit more generous. 2 more breaths. Right, you might be feeling yesterday's activities or the lack of them today. Then come back with the right foot anchoring down, rise the arms up, low lunge onto Anjanayasanas, hug the inner thighs, and reach long. Then start to look up, like take the chest up like it's the heart that has the eyes, not dropping the head back. And then slowly start to broaden your collarbones, bend your elbows, squeeze your shoulder blades. So cactus arms or goalpost arms, take 3 breaths. Then keep lifting, and you're going up, 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 up. Good, 2 more breaths. And then another moment, just a little bit more space between the collarbones, left hand down, and then extend your right arm up. So just really familiar stuff first. And then laying out the welcome mat for more excitement. And take another breath. And then lower your right hand down. Just come back to tabletop. Take a round of cat-cow in between, drop the belly, look up, round your spine, exhale. And extend your left leg back, so fire the back body, and then step it through. So as you take your hands around your left foot, begin that movement. And you might pause, right, somewhere and linger. Or you might be a little bit more just kind of forward and back, side to side, without really pausing, more of this, just kind of play. 2 more breaths. It's definitely one thing I'm trying to play a little bit more in my practice right now. So push down to your left foot, rise the arms up, extend through the sides. And then start to turn the chest up and practice those arms to broaden up. And I really think we've had to kind of reinvent our idea of what is adventure right now, or what is playful. And so 2 more breaths. The mat's kind of been that place for me this year. Good, take 1 more breath. And then release your right hand down, stretch your left arm up. And take 3 deep Ujjayi breaths. So, you can always let the left arm open up a little bit more, but we're not going for drama just yet. And 1 more breath. And then bring the hand back down, come back to all fours, tabletop. Take another round up, cat-cow, drop the belly, round through the spine. And make your way into puppy pose. So with your hips over your knees, either walk your hands forward, forehead to the floor, or a block. And even if you can drop your chest and let your throat out right now, let's maybe back off on that idea. Right? Maybe not going right for that just yet. And give yourself just this nice sense of light heaviness, if that makes sense, or heavy lightness. Relaxed and buoyant at the same time. And then allow 1 more deep breath. Bring your forearms down to the mat, look to your thumbs, and slither into Sphinx pose. Let's take our block, or 1 block, and bring it in between your forearms with Sphinx. So as you squeeze the block in between your elbow creases and your wrist, turn your thumbs down and really squeeze the block, push your pubic bone down, push all 10 toes down. So this pretty regal, elegant pose is now a little bit more fuego to it. Okay, so really squeeze. And again, feel this engagement throughout the body. Maybe you notice a little bit more between the shoulders and the upper back right now, but don't forget about the pubic bone, don't forget about the toes and the legs engage. Good, 2 more breaths. Whew, I'm tired already. 1 more breath. And then release the block to the side, push it back. Take your hips back towards your heels, start to look to your thumbs, with your toes tucked under. Soften your chest down, and as you push into the mat with your hands, downward facing dog. So any sort of pedaling out of your feet, or if it's already been a busy morning. I know some of you on the East Coast are like, morning, it's afternoon. You can always take some moments of stillness that might feel better to collect. Give yourself a few moments of either, walking the feet out or sweeping the heels side to side. Lifting the pelvic floor and the navel towards your spine so you feel that energy lock the vast, deep space of the pelvis and the core. You raise your heels, bend your knees, step forward, And I want you to take 2 blocks. If you only have 1 block, you may have to be a little bit more imaginative. Maybe you turn your block up on its side, across. Otherwise, 2 blocks in front of you, and flip your palms so that they turn up and you bring your knuckle side onto the blocks and then make a fist. So a soft bend of the knees here, a little bit more like Ardha Uttanasana, more of that half lift. And then open up the hands, then turn your blocks down setting. Put the palms up again, so now you fold a little deeper, make a fist. Hold that fist. Take another breath. Open up the hands, turn your blocks down. Bring your knuckles again on the lowest setting, unless you need to stay up a little higher. Make a fist. Drop the upper body a little bit down. Good, 1 more breath. And either stay there, make 1 more fist, or come into a ragdoll, knees are bent. Only bring the hands down, knuckle side, make a fist. A couple more breaths. Good morning, wrists. And then simply release your hands, either hands to your elbows. If you want to take a bind, take a bind. If you prefer taking your hands, just sway side to side like that. So take a few breaths, maybe shifting forward and back, side to side, and just that kind of investigation. And on your next exhalation, see if you can pour the spine down a little bit further. Then inhale, hands to the shins, float the sternum, float the heart, Ardha Uttanasana. Push your shins into your palms, take a breath. Exhale, fold it down, rise all the way to stand. Inhaling, Urdhva Hastasana, take the gaze up. And exhale, arms by your sides, Samastitihi, turn the palms forward. Inhaling, rise the arms to meet the ceiling. And exhale, fold down, hands to the earth. Inhale, extend your spine. And then step your left foot back, left knee down, low lunge. Take a block, place it underneath your right foot. And it doesn't matter if the block's a little smaller than your foot. Find those 4 corners and start to push down into your right foot. You'll notice obviously a lot more length in the left hip flexors. So if that's a little too intense, then make sure you're pulling the right hip back more. Extend your arms up. This time, the option is to keep your arms in cactus or left arm under eagle. Either way, take something that gives you a shoulder, chest type of action. And before you take any type of back bend, start to push down to the right foot, go up, and then maybe back. Then 3 more breaths. Keep pushing onto the block. If the block is too intense, you don't have to be on the block. Good, 1 more breath. And then rise the arms up. Place your left hand down. You can roll off to the left hand to take the block away from the foot. Take your block into your right hand. Then extend your block up in your right hand. Soft bend of your elbow, so really soft. Then let the block carry your right side open. So we're not locking out the elbow here. We don't want to feel any like ligament type of strength. Take 3 more breaths. And if you're lucky, you have those super old school cork blocks. I would just use those. They might be a little too intense, but you'll definitely feel the tissues of the right side challenged. Slowly bring your block on the right side back down. Tuck your toes, step it back to dog. Take 2 breaths of downward facing. I know the whole right side of my body just does not feel like it belongs to the left. Rock towards plank pose or a supported plank. Turn your sternum forward, keep the feet where they are. Lift the pelvic floor and belly in. And keep your neck nice and long. Take 2 breaths. Then scoot to the toes and chaturanga to your belly. Come into cobra pose, push into the toes, pubic bone, come up, and then exhale, lower it back down. Bring your block and place it around your low back, lower part of the thoracic spine. So when we push up to either all fours or plank, we're taking the weight out of our spine. We're making ourselves nice and strong and controlled. Tuck the toes under, hold the pelvic floor belly in, push up plank pose, Good. You can walk your right foot out a little bit, take the block off your back, and then come in a downward facing dog. And we'll take the left leg high, bend your knee, roll your hip open, take a couple of circles in each direction. And feel the hydration of the hip joint, hopefully. Then square up your hip back and three-legged dog. Bring your left knee to your left shoulder. Give yourself a deep pause. Hold, hold, hold. Hold it there another moment. Flip the knee. Step your left foot through. Keep your back knee lifted. Turn the chest forward. And step the right foot to meet your left. Extend your spine. Inhale. Fold down. Exhale. Pick up a block. Inhale. And sit low. Utkatasana. Exhale. Bend your elbows out to the side. Then wrap the elbows in. Push your block. And you're going to squeeze your block. Feet can be either together. You can take your feet hip width. For those of you who maybe have SI issues, slide a block to your inner thighs and squeeze the block in your hands. And it's really hard to hide as I'm talking right now. I'm shaking. 3 more breaths. Keep squeezing. And exhale 2. Whew. Just 1 more breath. And then fold down, exhale. Inhale, Lara Uttanasana. Step your right foot back, right knee down this time. Block underneath your left foot. Lunge with the left foot down. Again, we don't want to just lay forward. Even if you, I guess, could, it doesn't mean that that's ideal. Feel some lift, some pull back, but pushing down into your left foot. Same arm variation left side. So if you did more of a cactus it out. Other right arm under eagle. So the forearms come away and then maybe up. One of my favorite poses are lunges, just because you can do so many things in them. With arms, legs, feet. 2 more breaths. You know, this busy life we kind of have to get the most out of our time. Extend the arms up, place your right hand down, roll off to the side, step the foot off the block. Then bend your left elbow slightly, so again, we're not blocking it out. And let the block open up your chest. And you're probably leaning off to the right side right now, and that's okay. Just so that you feel the whole left side from the inner collarbone to the left fingertips, and that sensation. Good, 2 more breaths. And lower your block back down, step it back to downward facing dog. 2 breaths in downward facing. Then inhale, round forward to a plank. And this time grab a block and bring it back around your low back and underneath the back of the ribs. And again, you can be on your knees here. But this is going to help us, and the block may not fall off, it's not to shame you. But you can feel if it separates too much, if your weight in your spine are collapsing. Good, 2 more breaths. Kind of like that little quality assurance friend. Scoot to the toes, shot around it to the belly. Take your block in between your forearms again. And we'll come into space with the palms facing up. Squeeze the block. See if you can tap your thumbs to the outer mat. And squeeze the block. Good. Pull the belly through. Ignite the toes and pubic bone down. So your legs should feel almost as active as the arms. Good, 2 more breaths. Flip the palms, sit your block to the side. Lower all the way. So thinking again this time that you don't need the block, but you're going to just push up to plank and dog pose with that quality assurance in mind. And the right leg will lift, bend it, roll it open, couple of circles. Take it in both directions. And then extend the right leg high, 3-legged. Bring your right knee to your right shoulder, bring it lift higher. And then step the right foot through, maybe palms stay flat. And then step the left foot to meet your right. Pick up both blocks. As you rise all the way up to standing, inhale. Take 1 block to your thighs. Squeeze the block. Sit low. Hands in front of you. Elbows go out, then wrap it in. Okay. So as you draw your navel in and squeeze the block, once you take your block up, and keep the ribs in. Again, we don't want to blow out the ribs just to get upper arm bone reach. And then see if you can tap the block at the base of your neck. And then take the block up, and then lightly tap your thighs. 3 more times. So squeeze the block, lift it up, then tap the back of your neck. Take it up, and then exhale down. 2 more. Lift it up, and then exhale, tap. Reach it. All right, so squeezing the block between your thighs. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, there's another block. Tap it, reach it up, and then bring it to your thighs. Take both blocks to the side and pull it down. Exhale. Inhale, extend your spine. Step your left foot back. Bring the block underneath your right foot. This time the back knee is going to stay lifted. So toe heel the block underneath your right foot. Now, if you're feeling that this is a little bit too unstable, you can always walk your left foot out a little wider, or you can warrior your left foot. But only warrior the left heel down if you've got a lot of space, like more of a train track setting. And push down into your right foot, see if you can hover. I'm just watching the battle going on in my ankle right now for that strength to rise the arms up. So, not only is it different because of the height, but it's that foreign sense of touch. Your left foot and all the receptor sides feels that its foundation is different than the right side foot. Take 2 more breaths. Good. Lower the left hand down, shift off the block. Take the block into your right hand. This time with your back knee lifted. Also lift your inner and outer left thigh and roll the block up. So instead of just this huge wrap, right, this huge twist, keep the left inner and outer thigh firming and lifting. Good. 3 more breaths. And if you feel any pulling around the elbow, really make sure you bend there. We don't want to antagonize any of our ligaments, just to get a little bit more excitement. And then lower your block back down. Step back, this time to plank. So this time, take the block in your left hand and reach it back behind you. So the block is going towards your left foot. This should definitely not be side plank yet. Although, I'm tending to roll a little to the right side, so turn the left shoulder down. Take 3 breaths, block. Going back. In your left hand, 2 more breaths. Then bring the block to your low back. Come into plank with both hands down. Scoot forward to the toes. Chaturanga slowly to the belly. Remove the block. Take yourself to locust pose. Palms by your side, turn your thumbs out. So you lower your inhale. I'm kind of just obsessed with exhaling, lifting on the exhale lightly. And you can go through lots of really good dialogue about the benefits of lifting on either side of the breath. Good, 2 more breaths, but I'm in the exhale lift mode right now. Good, 1 more breath, and then exhale, lower back down. Good, now this time, take 1 block to the upper back, and 1 block to the lower back. Oh, it's going to be a little more challenging. So you come up into either supported plank or regular plank. Thumbs by your ribs. Ooh, come into plank. Take the feet out a little bit wider. This time take the block 1 at a time. Where'd you go? There you are. Downward facing dog. And lift the left leg high. Then you roll it open. And have the option lower your right forearm down. Half dolphin variation. And take just a couple more breaths working asymmetry. Or again, arms straight, always a great option. Then can you straighten the arm and the leg? And then bring your left knee, left shoulder. Then step your left foot through. Take a block in your left hand. Spin your right heel flat and come into side ankle pose. So take the block outside of your left ankle, left calf region. Again, you're going to be a little different. Who does what, where? Block can be high up, it can be low. So as you take your right arm out to the side, crack the shoulder in, and fly the right bicep over your ear. Good. 3 breaths. But if the left fingertips are turning light, make sure there's more left foot action. Good. Place the right hand down. Spin the right heel, move your block, and then step it forward. This time, grab both blocks, squeeze the block, turn your thighs. Blocks are going to come behind you. So elbows go out at first, then grab them in and squeeze the block. Ooh. And this one may not give as much range. See if you can extend the block and then just tap the sacrum. And then in, extend it, squeeze it, and then tap. 2 more times. Extend it, give it a tap. 1 more time, extend it. Oh my gosh, I'm getting tired. Then take the blocks back down and fold, exhale. Inhale and extend your spine. Step your right foot back. Slide the block underneath your left foot. Again, if you're going to spin the right heel flat and take it into more of a warrior foot, be wide. Be nice and wide. When you're kind of 1.5 warrior, in between 1 and 2. Then push down into your left foot. And if you look at all of the ankle movements, that stabilizing battle, rise the arms all the way up and come into a crescent variation, Anjaneyasana. Take 3 more breaths. It's better than, your typical block party. Good, 1 more breath. Exhale, lower your right hand down, shift onto the right hand, remove the block. Now lift the inner and outer right thigh. Take the block up into your left hand. Again, I know we can get all this open, but this is just a little bit of a load, not one to actually take you out of a structure. Take 2 more breaths. Right, we want to still have that structure. And then lower your block back down. Step back to plank. Pick up the block in your right hand. And then take the block back. You're welcome to be in supported plank. Again, it's really easy to turn this side plank. So we have to kind of turn the frontal right hip and the right shoulder down. Oh, easy, right? 2 more breaths. So easy. Block on the low back. Block on the upper back. Oh, I can tell that's just not the best setting. Turn the sternum forward. Chaturanga to the floor. Oh, okay. Take your block now in between your hands at your low back. And if your shoulders are saying, that's not going to happen today, that's fine. You can certainly either turn the block on its corners, which might give you a little bit more length. You can even put 2 blocks together. I know, you're like, this rice is heavy. So firm up the pubic bone down. Then I want to lift on the exhale, so take an inhale. And now exhale, lift, and take the block up. Now, if you're feeling very frisky today, you can palm the block. Frisky, that's a very traditional yoga speak. 2 more breaths. Lower all the way back down to the mat. Let's just make our way into downward facing dog. And then the right leg will go high, 3-legged. Bend it, roll it over. Turn the right shoulder down. Square your hip. Oh, sorry, left forearm down, right knee bends. 3 breaths. 2 more breaths. Now extend and straighten. Set up for side angle pose, right knee, right shoulder, and step the right foot outside wider so that we can set up side angle with either the block high up, back heel spun, or and you can bring your block down a little lower. I'm going to flip sides. Take your left arm out to the side, crack the shoulder, and then extend it so that you get just a little bit more of that kind of efficient shoulder joint mobility. And then we can really carve through the back foot, energy through the left foot to the left fingertips. Good. 3 more breaths. Exhale, 2. Look to the right foot, turn the chest down, turn the left hip down, and then step forward. So bring your hands to your shins, extend your spine, then Padahastasana. Separate your feet, slide either the palms underneath your feet, toes to the wrists, maybe even creep up a little bit on those lower forearms, or again, if you prefer, you can take your block and turn the palms up and make a fist here. And that will give you a little bit more of that maybe therapeutic connection. I know in Washington, a lot of people are going on these really epic hikes right now. And so, and I'm assuming elsewhere, so sometimes the hamstrings in the summer and the quads take on more cycling, hiking. 3 more breaths. And you may feel a little more reluctant to slide the hands underneath. And let's bring your hands now to your shins, grab one block, stand all the way out. Okay, so we're gonna have a little bit of shoulder mobility in the back. So cow face variation. Now, I'm gonna turn around and show you option 1 is your Utkatasana, bend the right elbow, lower the block as much as you can. Block's gonna come to your left hand, then you're gonna switch. And you might say, gosh, brought my short arms to class this morning, Lara. That's fine. You can always go like that, and then switch it, and then that, and then switch, okay? So, come into Utkatasana, bend your knees. Block with your right hand, reach it up. Bend your right elbow, drop it down low. Bring your left hand, tap the block, Gomukhasana, cow face. Now either switch it into your left hand up and drop it, or switch it in front. And now I just want you to go on your own. So just switching. And if the block goes bouncy, bouncy, bouncy off to the side, who cares? I do it all the time. I learned from my face plants. Okay, so just keep going. You're not counting. I'm not counting. Maybe you're counting. We're going to end up with the right side up. So do one more left and then one more right. Good. Okay, so hold the block. Now sweep the block off your low back. And I can see that my ribs are out forward. So draw them in. 3 more breaths. Did you forget you were in Utkatasana? I forgot. Good, exhale. And then fold it down. Ooh. So, from here we're going to take our blocks to the top of the mat wide. Okay, wide. If you only have one block, you'll be switching back and forth. Step back to downward facing dog. Okay, inhale, lift your left leg high. Then draw your left knee to your left shoulder. Now look to the block of your left foot. And you might have to hop your right foot forward. Step your left foot onto the block. Pick your right heel up. And now you're in crescent pose. So we're going to actually stand up onto our block on the left foot. So push down, draw up, draw your right knee up. And keep your right foot flexed. So twist your right hand back, left arm forward. Push into that big left toe mount. Good, 2 more breaths. Both arms reach forward and up. Slowly step your right foot back. So you can go through airplane pose, Siddhasana. Then look down, step your right foot back. Bring your hands down, and then step off to dog. So we do that on the other side. Okay? Inhale with the right leg high. Right knee, right shoulder. Now look to your right block. Step it forward. Okay, push down to the right foot. Come on up. And reach the arms up. Now, bend deeply. Stand up onto the block. Left knee lifts. Hands can go up again. If it helps you, just kind of think lifting the knee up. And then chest open. Right hand forward, left leg. Or left arm back, excuse me. Good, 2 more breaths. Sweep the arms forward and up. Airplane Siddhasana. Bend the right knee, look down, look down, look down. Step back, lunge. And then hands, step back to downward dog. Okay, move the blocks off your mat. This time, taking the block either in your left hand back, or if it's okay in your spine, most of the neck, take the block forward. And this is just a whole nother layer of miserable fun. Turn the left frontal hip down. 3 more breaths. Okay, exhale 2. Now we'll take the side plank pose, Vashisthasana. Take the block in your left hand and maybe stack the left hip over or draw the right knee down. So this is not to open up the chest. This is to actually just give a little bit of more load, more weight. Good, 2 more breaths. Draw your left knee, look to the top of the mat, set your left foot forward, place your block outside of your left ankle, spin your right heel flat. Triangle pose. Utthita Trikonasana. So right arm can go up, over, around. This probably feels very restful after some of what we've been doing. And that's a little bit of the idea. A little bit of the idea. Good, 2 more breaths. But we'll take this into our half moon pose now, Ardha Chandra. Bend your left knee and walk your right foot in just a bit. Then reach the block forward and start to roll your right hip up. Roll the right toes out. You can stay on your block. For those of you who are like, wow, I am in full on block party mode, pick the block up and reach it forward. And 3 breaths. Good. 2 more. So I have those big cork blocks and I specifically didn't choose them. Now step back, reverse warrior with your block. Take your block up, bend your left elbow, and let it open up the left side. I specifically chose my lighter blocks this morning. Nice, 1 more breath. And exhale, hands down. Spin the right heel, step it forward. Grab your block again. And we're going to do that cow face this time. Left elbow is going to start up. Raise your hand if you like this. Just kidding. Block into your left hand. Bend your elbow. Utkatasana. Again, here go those ribs. So whoosh, draw them in. Hands on opposite ends of the block. And then switch it. Either in the front or the back. And then switch. And then switch. And isn't it nice if you're muted? You could be saying anything right now about this. Of course, like, wow, I'm having such a good time. 2 more. Okay, so we'll end up with the left hand holding the block. Good, left hand up, block, and the right hand lower. Let's see if you can pull the block off. This side, I can't. Why? The internal rotation of my right shoulder is like, no, not happening, sister. 2 more breaths. So it's kind of actually nice to know these things. And now fold down, hit the blocks again to the top of your mat. And then come into a short dog. This class is 3 hours long, right? We have so much to do. Draw the left leg up, left knee, left shoulder, hop it forward, look to the block, step the left foot. Pick up the block in your right hand this time, and push the left foot down and come into a lunge. Bring the block in between your hands, elbows rock in, and now stand up with the left foot, right knee. Okay, so I need to actually move back so you can see. Now, you can bend your knee and then see if you can tap your toes to the block. Doesn't matter if you touch it. Bring your foot to your block versus your block to your foot. Okay? 3 more times. Tap. Good. And then tap. And then tap. And then tap, hold. Oh my goodness, that stinks. Fly back, airplane Devasana. Step it back. Downward dog. All right, now you know what we're up to. Right leg high. Step the right knee, right shoulder. It's going to burn the legs out to step the right foot forward. Pick up the block in your left hand. Rise up, press and pose, push down, left knee up. Block in the hands, squeeze the elbows in, forward. Again, I don't want you to bring the block to you. I want you to bring you to the block. Tap, and then tap, tap. Whew. 3 more. Good, airplane pose, Devasana. Step it back. Move your blocks off to the side. And come into plank. Blocking your right hand this time either forward or back. Turn right hip down. 3 more breaths. Vakshisthasana. Side plank. Knee down or knee lifted. Block up. 3 more breaths. And if you have the blocks down, that's fine too. Now lower the block down. Option's going to go over dog. If you want a vinyasa, plank, chaturanga, up dog, down dog. That isn't obstructed, then do so. So we'll step the right foot forward to triangle pose. So right hand down, spin the left heel flat. I don't teach a ton of chaturangas, but I want to always throw it out there. Somebody's like, I need to have that. So there you go. There it was. Left arm up and over. There's your vinyasa of the day, or at least for this. And then extend your arm up and over or up. And reaching. So triangle pose, this is kind of just a really beautiful way to open up the triangle with the block outside of your ankle for rotation and height and lift, and the place where we're kind of resting. Then half moon pose, Ardha Chandra, bend your right knee, pop the left foot in, walk the block forward. Again, the option is to stay with your block underneath you or lift the block forward. Left arm up. And there's no way I can pretend this isn't hard. My voice is like, ah. Awesome, 1 more breath. Then reverse warrior to the block, open up the left or the right side, block to the left. I'll turn it around. 2 more breaths. And then exhale, hands down. Step back to dog. Then lower down to your knees. And then come back to either hero's pose with a block inside of your heels, or perhaps drop your pelvis inside without the block. Without the block. And just come into a neutral spine and a place where the breath will slow down, smooth out, And you revisit a simple shape, not easy, but simple shape. And you can observe some of the shifts, some of those changes. Okay, 2 more breaths. Make your way to your back and draw a block to your inner thighs for bridge. So if you're like, I would like inner thigh block and block underneath my sacrum, supported bridge, then that's you. That's totally you. Squeeze the block, now walk your heels in, fingers graze the backs. And then gently push down into your heels first and try to feel everything engage or wake up. Then at the same time, you push firmer downward, squeeze inward more, and lift your pelvis into bridge or supported bridge. Now, I don't even want you to think about this. I just want you to squeeze your blocks and float the left leg up. Right? If you thought about it, you're like, I can't do it. But if you don't think about it, you probably can do it because you haven't set that precedent. Bring the left foot down, squeeze the block, right foot up. Good. Now, bring the right foot back down, squeeze the block. If you don't have one already, slide it underneath your sacrum, and we'll take our way into Viparita Karani as you reach your feet up. And the toes, the ankles may wiggle and roll, flex, and point. So we could go on and on and on. We could practice and practice and practice and never even skim the surface of the physical asana. And that's the great thing. That's, I think, what makes us keep coming back, at least for that physicality reward. But as we come into poses like legs up the wall, start to get that payoff for the calm. So about 5 more breaths. Calming sense, helping us to right on that hero's journey, I suppose, not just in pandemic, but in life. Right? Meet challenges with a more steady self. Then just slowly place your feet down onto the mat. Slide the block just enough to slide it out from underneath. And then let your pelvis drop down and draw your knees in. And just rock side to side. Let's rock side to side. So I want to take a twist with a block to the inner thighs. Block might come a little closer to the knees or a little bit closer towards pelvic floor. It's really going to depend on your body. So you're going to have to maneuver. I know a lot of you have done this before, and you know that sometimes it's the Goldilocks effect. And you're going to drop your knees over to the left, and then move the block situated to that place where it's just right, that right broadening of the back and pelvis. And it's not distracting you. It should feel present, but not obstructive. And this is certainly a really nice way to take a reclined variation of the twist for sacroiliac issues, SI joint being a little bit more, or a lot more common, or just more spoken about now. As yoga practitioners or teachers, we will come across it. And then slowly come back to neutral. Take the block out for a moment, just kind of refresh, and then bring it back. Start where you think you might be a good place to start, and drop your knees to the right, and then you may be moving the block. And on this side, the block, for me, feels better in a different spot than I did on the other side. Symmetry. Symmetry of the body is, I guess, one of those things that we may never truly 100% experience, but we try. Now, just for about a minute, I'd like us to come back, slide the block underneath, and I like to place the block on an angle, and put the edge of the block right underneath the base of my skull. We'll do some fascial work around the occipital region, so the little neck cave, subox muscles, and then some of those erector muscles, the ropey ones that run along the spinal column from the sacrum, and then two of them come up towards this region. So you'll just kind of roll side to side, and you might feel a little bit more intensity on one side than the other, or it's all rough. So as you do this, relax. If the jaw starts to clench, stop it. So about 7 more breaths. You want to pause in one spot that just feels particularly tight, or again, it should never be painful, but tender. If it's painful or sharp or shooting, you're going to avoid that, and you might find the release like a little bit off of that place. But when the time is right for you to come off of your block, this is where you might start to think about your Shavasana pose. If you need to grab any props, like perhaps you have a bolster, and you want to slide it underneath your knees or your spine. A lot can come underneath the shoulder blades. Again, looking for that Goldilocks shape again for supported fish. Or resting, just fully reclined. Drop into the support, release at Ujjayi. Periodically check in if your mind is wandering and bring it to a space it can rest. And of all things now, a celebration, it is that we are able to practice. We are able to be in our breath. We are able to be with others regardless of physical presence. But that there is still a collaborative way to gather with the self and with others. So as you start to bring in some movements, your fingers, your toes, expanding through the palms, like pushing through the balls of your feet, and then allowing that either kind of starfish or arms up overhead type movement. Rolling to your right side at some point and supporting your head with your hand to your arms. Or hey, block. Block might be too high. But give yourself that sweet transition to a seat. And it might be the same seat you started from, and it may be a completely different one. But again, either very soft gaze, your eyes completely closed. Draw your palms together. Anjali Mudra, very light touch. Bow your forehead to your fingertips. Bow in honor of what is that inner teacher, and that is the Guru that lies within your hearts and your own souls. Om Balo Sadguru Maharaja Ki Jai. And thank you so much for sharing your practices. Namaste. Namaste. I'm so glad my dogs didn't bark. The one thing about yoga at home is that I have dogs, and I'm so glad they didn't bark and ruin your practice.
Thank you so much. It was an awesome class.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Lara. I love
Thanks,
it.
Lara.
Thank
Good.
you.
You guys ready to go mingle?
Yeah. Join us next Saturday. Marie Bell is teaching a class, and I'm really excited.
Yay.
Well, so
Awesome.
thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I love
Thank you.
the block assisted lunch. That was awesome.
Well, you know, quite honestly, if nobody had been paying attention, we could have gone on for another hour. I mean, there's so much fun with blocks. Yeah, no, I appreciate everybody showing up. Maybe you can chat on Instagram or whatever later and say hi. Yeah, appreciate it.
Felt wonderful. I really appreciate it.
Good. Well, yeah, go make.
And I love that sub-occipital stretch too.
Well,
I
yeah.
needed that. Felt
Yeah.
great.